As you can see, we have a giant pile of stuff here to show you. It's that time of year, it's knitting season, and we're getting all kinds of new products into the shop. And I guess that Sarah and I each have a pile, and we're going to kind of go back and forth and tell you a little bit about what's new in the store. So I'm going to start with, whoopsie, I'll have to pick up that later. This fluffy little beauty is called Cashmina. It's from Katia Concept, and it's $24 for this lovely ball of cashmere merino wool. And it makes one ball only, makes a beautiful scarf, and that's a very sort of gradual long gradient. So all you need is one bottle of one ball of cashmina, 5.5 millimeter needles, and you've got yourself a scarf because the pattern comes for free with the yarn. So this has been, we just got this recently, and this has been quite popular, especially for that sort of like TV knitting, Christmas gift knitting crowd. So would recommend.
Excellent. All right, also on our would recommend list, especially as we talk about knitting season, colorwork and gifts. So we have got Haynes Creek Heathers. So we've been carrying the worsted Aran weight version of this for some time. Really good value yarn, like a real workhorse of a yarn. So this is the lighter version of that. We've got something like 18 colors.
Yeah, something like that. I think it's around 18, and it's only $9 a ball.
And yeah, and so the thing is, with that many colors to choose from, this is fantastic for, I did these fingerless colorwork mitts. This pattern is Vagabond. It's, I think, a free pattern. It's on Ravelry. I can't remember if it's free or not. But anyway, this yarn is tremendous for color work. And especially as we talk about Christmas gifts, you know, some of us like to make stranded mitts or stranded hats for people. And actually 100% would recommend this yarn for that. Because the other thing too is these guys are just 50-gram balls that are only about 130 meters each. And what's nice about that is you actually don't have a lot of leftover waste yarn. So you're not buying these huge hulking skeins when all you need is a very little bit. And one of these, like one color in each, made these guys with yarn to spare.
Yeah, so it makes it really accessible for you to build up your palette of DK weight yarn for color work. And then the other thing I think you told me before was that you imagined doing the Fiddlehead mitts with this yarn as well.
Yeah, with that many colors, like I was actually looking over the weekend at that collection, and there's a whole bunch of different variants of Fiddlehead that you could pick and choose and put together from. And again, you don't have a whole lot left over, but you could probably easily get at least 2 or 3 pairs of mitts.
Yeah, with the accent colors,
yeah.
you'd probably get multiple pairs of mitts, and then you would just have to buy one ball of the main color for each mitt.
Yep.
Or each set of mitts, I would say.
Yep.
So that pattern has been like a perennial favorite here. So if you love Fiddlehead and you're looking for a new yarn to make it in, I think the DK Haynes Creek would be awesome. So next on our list of new things to talk to you about is Manostel Uruguay Alpaca Heather. And if you're not familiar with Manostel Uruguay, it's a brand that's a not-for-profit out of Uruguay. They started in 1968, and the whole point of it was to empower rural women in Uruguay to make their own livings and become independent and be paid fair wages. So they sort of took the traditional skills that they already had in producing and dyeing wool and making garments, and then translated that into an international sort of market for them. So we're proud to carry those yarns. Alpaca Heather is one of my favorites. I'm wearing it right now. This is the Aubree Cardigan by Sarah Solomon, and it's got this sort of nice cabled motif on it. So you'll see how it looks in cables, and this is the Bing Cherry colorway. And this yarn is a blend of alpaca and wool. And these are the natural colors here. They come in 100-gram skeins. There's 3. I'll just show you. So these are all undyed. and then all of the hand-dyed colors are over-dyed on one of these 3 natural bases. So the lighter colors use this kind of beige color, the more moody colors use the toast, and then the cooler colors use the gray base. We've got 5 new colors to show you. So we've had this yarn in the shop for a couple years now, since it first came out, and they've come out with some great new bright shades this year. So they're right across here. We have Cactus Flower, Tahiti, Magenta, Royal, and North Sea, and this is actually a crossover from the Cardo base. And then we have a whole slew of colorwork options, including semi-solids like Goji Berry and Big Cherry, and then some sort of watercolor options as well. This one's one of my favorites, Cottage. So you do have, you know, if you're doing a shawl, you have the opportunity to kind of blend the semi-solids and the naturals with some of these more watercolor dyed options. And a really popular pattern right now in Alpaca Heather is Desperate Housewife by Melanie Burke. And that takes the toast colorway, and then you get to pick sort of, I think it's maybe 5 different colors to go with it. So, you know, you can take your pick of the palette here to create your own striped cardigan. And then the other one I want to show you is in this book, Strands of Joy. So that's by Anna Johanna. This reed pullover in this gorgeous sort of colorwork motif. So that is using the gray base, this guy here, as well as honeycomb, and then the coal color, which is here. So I really recommend you give this a try. It's a sport weight. Sport weight has become a lot more popular in the last maybe 2 years. So it works well with any sport weight patterns for color work, for cables, great for cardigans, as you can see, and pullovers, but also soft enough to wear against your neck for shawls and hats as well. Another yarn that we have had since last winter is Cardo. This is Manostel Cardo. It is a Corriedale yarn. So Corriedale breed is a mix of merino wool and another breed that I can't remember the name of, but I'm going to make it go across the screen right about now. But the nice thing about it is that it has sort of that softness, downiness of merino, but it also has more durability and maybe slightly longer staple length on the fiber. And this is a bulky yarn, so I would say it's kind of on the cusp of like a chunky weight, bulky weight. The recommended needle is like a 6.5 millimeter, and I think they're saying around 13 stitches for 4 inches, so it's in that range. And this is an excellent yarn for like items that you're going to wear a lot, that's going to get a fair bit of wear and tear, but you also need to be sort of soft next to the skin. So it kind of, Corriedale kind of brings you the best of both worlds in that regard. So this would be a great durable yarn for winter accessories. And I love it. And it's non-superwash too. So it's hand-dyed, non-superwash, which is also a little bit more unusual. So it would be great for color work. Like if you've got, want to do like a couch and sweater or something like that. Anything bulky that you're going to steek. This is a great choice. So we've got some new colors. This is Gecko. This one here is Pesto, Basil Pesto. And we've got Galaxy Blue. This is very pretty. And this is from the same company as Alpaca Heather. So you are getting that same fair trade. You get on the label, it'll tell you the name of the person who has dyed this. This is Ethereal, Chambray, and then Concord, like Concord grape. So these some gorgeous new colors. There's the full original palette as well, which is also beautiful. And then these new colors complement that very well.
Well, heading to the opposite end of the weight spectrum, I'm going to talk a bit about Jawoll sock. And so this is a relatively new sock yarn to the store. We got it in just a few weeks ago. It is absolutely gorgeous and soft. This has got a little bit of silk in it. It's what, about 20% silk, 55% wool, and then the rest is nylon. So it's great for socks. Another thing, and we know that a lot of people love to use sock yarn to knit baby things. And Natalie made this gorgeous, adorable little sweater in it. It's called the Festival Sweater. And so she used that using Jawoll sock. Probably, I would say, about a skein would do the hat. I think she used a skein.
Yeah, there was quite a lot left over.
Yeah.
So the little baby jumper, like, used one, the main color was one skein and a bit. So one thing to know about this is that these are 50 grams. These cute little rolls, I love them. And they come in these gorgeous pastel colors. So if you're making socks, you will need two. So it's sort of like one roll per sock. For the sweater, the main color used just a titch over one ball. And then with the second ball, Natalie made the little hat, and then there was quite a bit left over of all the different colors. So theoretically, I guess you could take some of those colors and reverse them and try to do another sweater. Or you could just, save the bits for colorwork socks too.
Yep. Exactly. Lots to do. It's very soft and yeah, just like a nice, lovely addition to our sock section.
Yeah, and the silk gives it kind of a nice little, just je ne sais quoi, bit of a sparkle. And like
shine.
Silk is super strong as well, so the yarn's going to be very durable long term. And the next thing I'm going to bring up is, this isn't a new yarn per se, but it's new to us, is the Berroco Dulce. This yarn has like a very long gradient color change, as well as the floof. So it's kind of like Cashmina, in the sense that it does have that color change, but it's in a cycle as opposed to like Cashmina has a start and end in the same ball, whereas this one is kind of a cycle that runs over and over again. So the core thread here is a cotton, and then you have like this beautifully soft alpaca and merino floof on it as well, and it means that you can do some neat things with color play. So yes, we've got this. This is called the Paola Scarf. So this is technically a worsted weight, but that's mainly because of how fluffy it is. So this I knit up with a 5mm needle. So it does have a bit of space between the stitches, but it's not like, it doesn't
It's not like a lacy.
Yeah, it doesn't give you a lacy look, because as soon as you wash it, all of the floof just goes and fills in all the
stuff.
But you can see this is a mosaic color work, and you can see sort of how it cycles through the different colors and gives it like this, I would say it looks pearlescent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks kind of like, I think it's called dulce to invoke the ocean, because it kind of looks like the inside of a seashell.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the look that they're going for. So we do have the entire palette here. And this scarf took 2 colors, 3 balls of each color. And then another thing that you could do too is you could cut it in half. So you could do 5 squares across and give yourself more of a scarf size instead of a stole. So that's something I saw our sales rep had. And then this, it has like a fun fringe on the end as well. So it's
beautiful.
It's soft. It's like a little fluffy joy.
Well, and staking on the colorwork theme, one thing that is already been tremendously popular, so we're just reminding you to get it while you can, is Tones Light. It is absolutely gorgeous. So we got in tones. You're familiar with Brooklyn Tweed's worsted weight version, and so what they do is they do the classic under and over dye. And so basically we have two of the same colors here. They've just altered the dyeing process for each one, and then what you get is 2 tones. This is great for anything from colorwork projects. Brioche would be fantastic. If you like doing brioche, consider trying it in tones, because you would actually get a very cool effect, and you also actually don't have to stress on whether or not your colors are going to work together because it's the same color. And so that we have tones in light now. So that is the fingering weight version. It is also a great alternative to Loft, and we do have some news on the Loft front that we did want to share.
Yeah, so some of you may have already talked to me about Loft. I know there's a bit of a trouble with the supply chain there. There was a problem with the dyer. Unfortunately, they went out of business during COVID. So Brooklyn Tweed is trying really hard to rebuild that supply chain. So there is a good chance that we won't see Loft again until at least 2023 at this point. So with that being said, if we have what we have on the shelves right now for Loft is what we're gonna have. Like, so if you need Loft for a Christmas present, like definitely grab it now because it won't be restocked this year. But yeah, like Sarah said, tones is an exact gauge substitute for Loft, so that's a really good option. And then we've also got the Merino Darl, which we would also encourage as a very good substitute for Loft.
And we love this wool. This is like, so all of us who work here at the shop, we've all knit with it, and it is all in our top 5 lists. And if you knit with it, you will see why. It is springy and lovely and soft. I know I've done a blog post on it. I mean, the sheep have these happy little lives in the French Alps where they go up and they like graze in the fields. I mean, what's not to like about it? The colors are fantastic. So anyway, so if you're looking for Loft and we don't have it in, you have now like a couple of options. Tones Light, which is just, it's like Deanna said, an exact substitute for it, but also Merino Darls, and it's actually right down to the skein. Like, it's like a skein for skein swap almost. So there are lots of options there. And actually, you know what? If you haven't tried a Tones Light or the Merino, then we actually would encourage you to give that a shot as well.
Yeah, to knit with the Merino Darl is to love it.
Yes.
Like, there's no way you're not gonna love it.
You'll knit something with it and immediately, like, I spent a lot of time looking at other things that I could knit. Even when I have things that I am knitting already, I'm like, what else can I knit with the Merino? Because it really is actually just lovely. Just lovely to work with.
So, changing gears a bit to a book. So we just recently got the Painting Shawls book by Stephen West. This was requested quite a lot when the first came out. Unfortunately for us, the first print run sold out really fast, and I couldn't get any from that print run. So we got some from the second print run. It's this beautiful hardcover book. It has like excellent photography, lots of color, you know, as Stephen West does. So there are multiple shawl patterns in here, but he gives you all kinds of instructions at the beginning on how to customize the various patterns to suit your style, including color, shape, texture, all of these different things. So would recommend. This is a great one to have on your bookshelf. It's a great gift for a knitter. I would say this, I guess the holiday season is coming up.
That's right. And just to sort of add to that, I mean, one of the things, like Stephen West stuff, it is really colorful, and sometimes like it's
intimidating.
It's intimidating because it's a lot. But here's the thing is that at the very base of it too, he is a tremendous designer and he's a tremendous knitter, and that shows through in his patterns. His patterns work and they're well planned out, and that to me is always really important. Is like, it's one thing to look at something and think, oh, I want to knit that, but if the pattern is just like this convoluted mess, we all know it's going to be a struggle to get there, and that ruins the experience. But I mean, Stephen West stuff, like, it's really well done. Like, it's checked, it's thorough, and, you know, I think that he actually takes the knitter in consideration at all times when he's laying that stuff out. And that's just one of those things that's really important when you're buying like a book of patterns, is how well they're done. And these are all really well done.
Yeah, you will, even if you're not into that kind of like wild use of color, you can make it your own, and he gives you all the steps on how to turn it into your own shawl to meet your own style and needs. So
exactly,
it really is a book for everybody.
For everybody,
not just the fluorescent inclined.
Yes, exactly. We had this discussion just earlier where Deanna had a fluorescent color, and I'm like, that's not for me. It's not for me. I am here to talk about socks because we all know socks are my favorite, and socks should maybe be your favorite too because socks are amazing. And so we have actually just got in some new sock yarn, and I wanted to talk a bit about that. And what I wanted to talk about was Malabrigo's Ultimate Sock. And so we've had Malabrigo sock in the store. That's not new. So you're probably wondering, well, why is this one Ultimate and the other one is just regular? Well, Ultimate Sock is actually 75% merino wool, 25% nylon. And that 25% nylon is actually just going to make your sock much more durable and much stronger, which is exactly what you want because socks go through a lot of wear and tear because they're on our feet, and our feet go through a lot of wear and tear. And another thing that we actually love about the Ultimate Sock line is there are a couple of new colorways that are actually specific to Ultimate Sock. So one of them that I've got in my hands here, this is Arape, so that's a new one. Then we've got Rosalinda, and we've got this beautiful color Zinnia, which is just off the hook. And then of course we have some Malabrigo fan favorites. We've got Arco Iris here, we've got Pearl 10. I'm feeling a bit like Vanna White right now, just like doing the thing. But there's a whole bunch of different colors, there's a whole bunch of new things you can make with these two right here. Like that to me just like screams color work. So this is new to the shop. It's $28 per skein, so again, it's tremendous value, and it is 420 yards. So one skein will make a pair of socks, and we think that you should try out Ultimate Sock because you'll probably love it as much as we do. Another thing that we've just got in, actually, and when we're talking about stuff that's for everyone, so we have the Berrocos, we have the Lanas Quick, and then we had the Lanas Worsted.
Yeah.
And now we've actually got the Lanas White. So this is a sport DK version of what's become sort of a real nice workhorse of a yarn in our shops. It's got an excellent price point. This is around, what, 14?
Yeah, in that
bucks?
range.
But tremendous yardage. Again, it's the same color palette that you have. I'm just looking up the yardage here. I should know.
It's a 383 yards, 350 meters. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's, for 14 bucks, that's pretty tremendous. I mean, this will be good for lots of different color work projects. This will be good for a lot of fingering work projects. If you wanted to try a painting shawl, then actually the Lanas palette too is a little more muted. It's actually, there are more pastels and some more earthy jewel tones.
And they're all heathered, like blended heathered colors. And the nice thing about the Lanas Light is it's a DK2 Sport. So it's a 22 to 24 stitches every 4 inches. And that brings you into a kind of a light DK to Sport. And because it's a 2-ply instead of like a 3 or a 4-ply, it will kind of open up a bit more when you block it. So if if you've got a little bit more space between the stitches, that'll be okay with the Lanas Light.
Yeah.
It's gonna fluff up a bit. And that's the 100% Peruvian wool, just like all of the Lanas, and it's just one of our sort of good budget workhorse options. Like Sarah said. And so this is the next one here. It's going to be one of my faves. I'll just move Dulce out of the way a little bit. Is the Woolstok Tweed. So they're calling it an Aran weight. I beg to differ. I think this is a chunky weight. They're recommending, I think, 3 to 5 stitches per inch. So it can be, you can only have 12 stitches every 4 inches. So I think this is firmly kind of in the chunky area. If you do choose to use this as an Aran weight, it will be dense.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to do it, around 18-20 stitches. It's definitely going to be a dense, warm knit. So it's the Woolstok you know and love, except that it's a 4-ply instead of a. So the Woolstok Light is a 1-ply. The Woolstok Worsted is a 2-ply, and then this is a 4-ply, which gives it a really nice rounded texture. And then it's been blended with the Donegal Nups. So you'll notice like that the colors are a little bit more muted. This is Tiger Lily, so I believe this would have been like Embers and the worsted weight. So it's not quite as vivid and bright because of the Donegal tweed that's been sort of mixed into it, but it's still absolutely gorgeous. This is oats, I believe. Rolled oats, yeah. So you can see sort of the black and the brown flecks and everything. And this is going to be like a super versatile yarn. They came out with a gorgeous collection that goes with it. Absolutely in love with the Islington Jumper with the big like thistle motif across the yoke. That one's been really popular. People are like, ooh, what's this? You know? And then there's, you know, sweater vests are really hot right now. They do have a vest pattern that only takes 5 skeins, and it's really beautiful and simple to make. There's actually, I think I have a hat right behind me.
This to me just screams like I need to make one of those like grandpa cardigans. Yeah. You know, just with the wooden buttons.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's what I feel like.
Grampy cardigan, fisherman, fisherman sweater. This is just like a ribbed hat from the collection. So this only takes 1 skein, and you get this ribbed hat out of it. There's a beautiful cabled scarf as part of the collection as well. So I really recommend you give this a try. If you tried Woolstok and loved it, you're gonna love this guy too. Just, you know, try to think of it maybe a bit more as a chunky than an Aran. They classify these things by wraps per inch, but it is soft, it is squishy. You're gonna have amazing stitch definition with the 4-ply, and I'm sure you're gonna love this guy as much as I do.
Okay, and so that brings us, so I've got my final thing here. And so this is, on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas yarn in gingerbread. All right, so so we finally got our Christmas sock yarn. Well, I shouldn't say finally because it is only October. But if you're like me, you look forward to the Christmas sock yarn all year long. And I know some of you guys have already snapped it up. And honestly, that is the smart thing to do because when this stuff starts going, there is no stopping it. And so this year they have brought in a new colorway. It's called gingerbread. It's absolutely adorable and gorgeous. And so obviously I've already bought some. And so when you come in, so also too, it's West Yorkshire Spinners. And so a lot of you guys have been really loving their colorway that is named and dyed after all different birds. And then of course we have the Seasons colorway. This is now their Christmas yarn. And just also my always reminder that West Yorkshire Spinners was awarded Britain's best sock yarn 2 years in a row now.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
It is an awesome sock yarn.
It is. And actually it's $18.75. So honestly, that is just like...
The value is incredible.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. And it's actually, so this is 437 yards. It's, you're going to have more than enough to make a pair of socks. So I would suggest, ordering yours. If you see one that you like, then you're going to want to you're going to want to order it. And we also, too, it comes with some patterns.
Yeah, there's this little, so when you buy this from us, you get this little leaflet, and I won't show the QR I'll download the patterns. But on the back of this, there's a QR code for 5 free patterns that go with the Christmas sock yarn. So for $18.75, you get this gorgeous yarn plus 5 patterns. Yep. Basically. So, you know, you can't argue with that.
Yeah, it can't go wrong. Absolutely can't go wrong.
Yeah, and last but not least, we have a partridge in a pear tree. And 2 turtle doves. 3 French hens. So these are gorgeous embroidery kits from Hook, Line, and Tinker. They're a brand out of Nova Scotia. So if you've been to the shop recently, you see we have our little knot knitting corner, and we've started carrying embroidery supplies, mending supplies. We've got mending yarn and some books and things, sashiko as well. So these kits are designed for the beginner. So if you have an open mind and you want to learn, you'll be able to do this kit. It comes with everything you need. It's got the hoop, it's got a pre-printed canvas that comes with it. You get an embroidery needle, and you get a few skeins of embroidery floss as well. Everything you need to do this. And it also comes with the instructions on how to do the embroidery. So like, embroidery is a little bit quicker than cross stitch. We say this is like a good weekend project, either for you to do yourself to give as a gift, or give it as a gift to anybody who's crafty. It's a beginner, and what do they say? Ambitious, beginner friendly. Yeah. So you could give it as a gift to somebody who has never done embroidery before, but is craft positive.
Yes, and if you love to collect things, as I do, so the thing is, these are all designed after the 12 Days of Christmas, which is just adorable. So this is like 2 turtle doves,
partridge in a pear tree,
and then we're up to what, the 3 French hens?
Yeah, we're up to 3.
What's 4? 4 calling birds.
Yes. Yeah. So there'll be another. I think she's dropping them 3 at a time.
Okay. Yeah.
So there'll be another drop of 3 in the future.
Yeah. 4 calling birds. 5
golden rings.
6 geese a laying. That's the next.
I remember 7 swans a swimming.
Yes. Anyway, so there's lots.
We're reverse engineering.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, you could, if you wanted to be really ambitious, you could get all of the kits, and then you could actually have yourself like a lovely decoration for Christmas.
And this is like pretty much actual size too. It's only 6 inches. So like you could even deck out your Christmas tree.
Yes.
With these little guys, they're not going to weigh down your tree. They would make great little ornaments as well.
Exactly. Yep. Hang the hoops up around your house or something like that. I just think that's an adorable idea, and I love it.
So yeah, especially if you have, how some people have that like teeny little Christmas tree that's like a Norfolk pine or something. Like you could do something like this with that. So I think that's
everything that's new so far.
What we've got new. I think we'll be back soon. There's definitely some more exciting stuff coming in October that we'll talk about. But, this is what we got for now. It's not much, but just joking.
It's enough to keep all of us busy.
I think it'll be enough to keep all of us busy until the next drop of new things comes in this October. And thanks again for joining us here at Needles in the Hay. And if you want to get any of these beautiful items, they're available at needlesinthehay.ca, and we'll see you again soon.